Alrighty guys, this video is gonna be for beginners or for people who've been absent from eFootball for a while. I'm gonna guide you through everything that I'm about to tell you in this video is literally in the game. So basically, I'm giving you the element and where to get them and you cook yourself. While also I have individual videos for almost everything we talk about in this video. Most of them are being done for eFootball 24 and 25. Most of them are pretty similar in the playlist called Dream Team Tips on my channel. And eventually I'll be making individual videos covering most of the things that we talk about in this video. If I missed anything, you PES veterans, experienced players, if I missed anything, comment down below. Let's help out the people who doesn't know their way around. Thank you. Now, the first thing you want to do, in my opinion, is set your controller settings. And that is simply in extras, game settings, controller settings here. I have several videos about best controller settings, which is in a playlist called Dream Team Tips. Whether if you're an old school PES player, you want the buttons to be exactly similar to PES, or you want to understand the functions of especially your cursor change, your manual cursor type, your pass assist, everything else basically covers all that. And if you are on PlayStation, cross-platform on or off. Everything else is pretty self-explanatory with the match screen. A lot of people like to see opposition's player's name on top of their head and so on. These are all settings that is there. Now, to not make this complicated, the user interface on eFootball is very simple. Almost every page you get into it, you pretty much just have to pay attention to what it says at the bottom and top right. Literally, every page you get into it, you just press those functions. If I was to get into a squad or a game plan, all you gotta do is just pay attention to the functions. It's usually at the bottom or top right. For example, the latest feature that has been added, when you select on a player, again, all you gotta do, pay attention to that, change position, player action, done. And this is a feature that here, when you click on it, for you to understand, I think players playing style is really important. One of the major things that a lot of people ask about me when I live stream some of the basic stuff. But we're going to get into that later. And if you like your football jerseys, you're going to like this one. Bear with me. Whether you like your sportswear or generally football jerseys, this particular website, Socrates, I buy them for myself as well. I'm a user. I think they find them the best replicas on the internet that I can find. Especially is how affordable they are. Make sure to use my link on the description, and at the checkout you can use a promotional code, one word, that is PESEB. So ideally they make a sale, I get a tiny commotion, you get a 15% off. Everybody's happy. Now from here, what you want to do is that my advice is to improve on this game is that rewatch your games. If you're playing a game, especially on PlayStation or console, you just gotta do is save the recent gameplay from 15 minutes to half an hour and rewatch your game. That's the best way to learn. I think for my channel, making videos and giving tips for years, for me is that I am guiding you through the elements because I believe if you learn this game your way, you'll never struggle. It's very different from copying someone else, adapting to it, and then things change. Unless, of course, you want to become very good at the meta of the game. That way, you're just going to be a game beater. That's what keeps you consistent. But being a meta player is more about the mindset as well, not just copying someone else. So from here, if you check out the help section, general information, I advise you please to read through most of these for you to understand what most of these mean. But again, Konami being Konami, certain things removed is still there, like foil doesn't exist anymore. But for you to understand progression points, for you to understand certain aspects in the game, that comes handy if you understand it in a long run. Most of these stuff here, I advise you to check it out on the command list as well. And of course, the game tips right here, it's definitely worth going into it. I mean, the best thing to do is that you take a screenshot of most of these and keep it on your phone. Especially if you're a PlayStation, you can take a screenshot and then it will upload it directly to your PlayStation app on your mobile, then you download it from your mobile. Now, this section is just cosmetics, really. You want to change your banner or your avatar, your favorite player, but everything you do here, it will unlock some achievements. You might get something good for it that you might need, whether it's some GP or position trainers, etc. Especially if you are a free-to-play player, you might want to get your hands on everything you can. Now, as you can see, something is popping up on the inbox. All you gotta do, just hold the controller that is provided on your, I don't know, you could be playing on PC or you could be playing on console or mobile. I'm playing on PlayStation, so I am doing things according to that. Now, from this page, they added a new section. It's called Academy. Obviously, if you just started or you haven't done all these, I recommend you doing all these. You want to get your hand on everything that the game gives you for free. Training is basically you either pick your created Dream team or you go with the authentic team. Even the best players in this game will spend a lot of time on a training, whether to practice your motor skills, whether you practice combination of motion cancel dribbling. Nowadays it's called test cancel, but motion cancel dribbling has been always there. I think for me, as an experienced player for years, it's something that's not easy. More skills is important when it comes to motion cancel dribbling, which is at the moment meta. But I'm jumping from beginner to advanced in a sense. Let's keep it tidy. The next part is important is your command list for you to understand how each of these works and the functions of it. Again, this is something you want to take a screenshot, hit the training, practice, and do it. Don't jump playing online if you're struggling, if you care about your win ratio. Ideally, you want to at least master the basics, in my opinion. Because you might get excited, up until Division 4 might be easy. As soon as your rank matches start from Division 3. So from Division 3 onward, you will face experienced players more. And of course, the next thing is the shop. You've got a GP campaign. If you have enough GP, you can buy. Don't waste your GP on cosmetics. You're going to need it for random booster tokens. This section gets updated every Thursday, sometime Monday as well, if I'm not correct. But every Thursday it gets updated. So you want to gather up all your GP because you're going to need them for the three important things, that is random booster tokens and random skill tokens and position trainers. These are important things that you're going to need to customize your players' positioning, train them, level them up, and of course give them custom skills. Now, of course, in the eFootball point shop, you're going to be able to get certain things as self-explanatory, really. With your eFootball points, which usually get it through campaigns, you can buy some extra stuff. It's almost like a debt function, that one, to be honest. And occasionally you get a free player that you're able to buy it with your eFootball points. Now for that, of course, you're going to have to connect your account with your Konami ID. That's something you can simply Google it, Konami ID, you'll know. I'm pretty sure I had a video about it on 2024. Now, of course, this one is a coin section where you buy microtransaction. Again, my advice, if you not bothered about consistently dominating in top 100 for a rewards rank, I promise you, if you improve your game, if you practice, and if you are patient enough, you can get to Div 1 in this game without spending a single penny. Is it more difficult? Of course it is. This game is like a live update year by year. Nobody starts from ground zero. That's why if you newly started, everybody's already got a packed team. But in my opinion, being an old school gamer before the microtransaction, trust me, it is more satisfying when you don't spend, and with your own skill, you can beat anybody, in my opinion. Within reason, of course. Listen, if you face a good player who's better than you anyway, and you have a weaker team, you understand? Certain thing I think is if you never spend, that's a different thing. You can pass this section. But ideally, deals like that, in my opinion, I mean, usually they call me a hype killer because I hate hype impacts in a sense. And in my opinion, if you even never spend, deals like that you don't want to miss out on. Especially Silvestre is a very decent card for 79 pence. And you can pretty much get them for free because you get some free coins. Now in this section, when you get to the home section, that is pretty much, you got everything here. You go to the match, you got your events. Every Thursday and Monday, these events will get updated. You want to play all of them. You got versus AI and you got PvP. You want to play all of them, get all the rewards possible. And as I said, everything is self-explanatory in the game. You pretty much click on it, read the description, and you'll get into it. And most of these versus AI, you can actually sim it. When you get into the match, you can simply select, you enter any of these competitions really, you can simply choose the reward. Some of them are flexible, of course, and obviously you want to do the higher one to get a reward that is suitable more for you, unless you're really that desperate for GP. But from this option, when you press square, you can, if you're busy, you don't have time to play, you can just let the AI play for you. Just customize your formation, certain things. And of course, there are more advanced things in terms of when you're a beginner, which formations are the best. I think I have multiple videos explaining about the most common effective formations, tactics, and squad build. Your daily game is important as well. The daily game gets updated every day. When you click on it, you simply take a penalty. And once you do that, that's it. That's pretty much grinded in a sense. And this section is kind of important because you get decent rewards for doing what you need to do. For example, you don't want to miss out on free hazard. For free, it's not a bad card at all. And of course, you get a bunch of other free cards by taking. I think this Frank Ray card, which is exclusive only for free, you can't even pay for it. So the daily game thing, you want to make sure to log in at least every day, even if you don't have time to play. Even from remote control, I'm pretty sure you can do that. And of course, you got your missions. You want to check out everything here. They removed Match Pass, replaced it with the Campaign Hub, which is, again, more things to do for the free-to-play guys. And you simply get through all of these. You can read about them, how to unlock each one of them. Again, as I said at the beginning of the video, all you gotta do is just pay attention to all the functions. Usually is the bottom, top right, top left. That is pretty much the user interface. And it is important to achieve all these campaigns, all these objectives, because each one of them, some of them are pretty, there is nothing that is too difficult from these. Of course, for some of you, maybe promotion to Division 1. But here, I got something for you. When it comes to getting the reward, which is the achievement of the phase or a season, it's obviously you want to get to Division 1. Now, when you go to the ranked match, you can play PvP category, which is the one you get ranked up, you play against humans, or you play against AI. And the AI, you can play it yourself against AI, or you can simply let your AI play against AI with the same option. You select AI to play for you in a sense. And the reward is kind of shared. You can get to Div 1 on AI and Div 1 on PvP and get the double reward. There are only certain rewards you can get the double. Like, for example, booster slot tokens. If you finish top 1k on both, you can double up on that, but you can't get the complete reward. The rewards are shared. So if you get to Division 1 on AI, if you can never make it here, at least try to get to Division 1 on AI. Just to not miss out on any rewards, really. Now, rest of it, as you can see here, this one is, again, you got your special player list, which packs usually gets updated every Monday after 3 o'clock, and every Wednesday servers go down at 3 o'clock for 8, 7, 9 hours, and then on Thursday you get new packs. Player of the week usually is on Thursdays. Normally epics are on Mondays and showtimes on Thursday, but sometimes they do it the other way around, and so on. And again, you don't want to miss out on anything. You get 10 free players if you just started on eFootball 24. Most of these packs really consist of 150 players. You know exactly what you're getting into in a sense. And of course, as I said at the beginning, it's important to go to the command list and read Understanding the Game so that you will understand, in terms of even player training, which I'll have a specific video for it, is that you have to understand player stats and you have to understand player skills. Therefore, you'll have a good knowledge about how to train players correctly. That's something I'll have a particular video for it. And of course, on the right, you can also see the type of the card. This is epic type and double booster. These are pretty much all information I guide you through it at the start when you go to extras and game tips and info section. And of course, you got your free cards here, like nominating contract. Ideally, when you play, you would unlock a nominating contract or two, and you can pick your free player. At this point, I think I'm going to make a particular video which of these players to pick as well. Most of the stuff, eventually, I'll have a particular dedicated video for all of them anyway. Then from here you have your packs, which is a different section where you buy managers, cosmetics, often kits, and so on. I think if you are a beginner, you just started, I mean, this manager is going to be there for 40 days. If you started and these managers are available for you, I would recommend this manager in particular because ideally you want to save your coins to get a booster manager that helps as well. Again, if you don't know much about managers and the relationship between your manager and your players and how it impact making your players higher rated, making your player status go higher and give them the boost, because there are multiple boosts that makes your player to be higher stats and higher rated. And for that, I have multiple videos on eFootball 2025, which is pretty much remains the same mostly. And the new feature eFootball 26, this is basically a section where you can pretty much buy stuff, and that is cosmetic. I would say leave this section out. But the good feature is your opponent actually see your customized stadiums and anything that you use that is customized. And from here you have your basically standard GP players in a sense. Then your standard managers without a boost. And this section is pretty much dead. Now to the most important part. Well, I mean, before we jump into that, obviously when you click on match, you have your My League. This is like a season or master league it used to be. You just play against AI. It's a very bland, dry competition thing. Quick match is basically you play against other users online if you want to practice doing so. You got your exhibition and friendly match if you want to set up a room to play with your friend online. Then you have My Team, and My Team, obviously you have the current managers that you own. You got your strips. Now when it comes to strips, all you gotta do is select any of these and you can change them to whatever other kits that you may have or may not have, and you can customize them. Not customizing the kits, but customizing which one you want to have it as your main 3 kits. And from here you can customize your stadiums, which is a nice feature in a sense, but I think when they implemented this custom stadium feature, especially when you can buy some of these elements, I mean most of them are available and that is free, but especially when you can buy some of them, it makes you realize that we may not get edit mode in a sense. I don't know, maybe it's just me. And from this section you basically change the view. Again, the toggle display action, you can filter it by whatever there. You can sort it by position and so on. You can hit the R3, you can switch them to see their leveling and so on. And the most important things, of course, your game plan, anything you do here. Now this might look a little bit intimidating for those of you who are new, but trust me, again, all you gotta do is just pay attention to the functions in the user interface, which they are pretty simple. This live update just shows your players between A, B, C, D. This is something pretty basic. I have multiple videos about it. And from here, of course, you want to change your manager, you want to change your formation and then customize it. Team playing style. Ideally, if you are a beginner, the main tactic I would recommend is long ball counter, really. But if you are good at defending, you prefer to defend high up the pitch with high pressing, then quick counter. But I would not recommend, if you play slow, then definitely position game. Avoid those two. I mean, sitting back and just long balling and defending under pressure only works for certain ways or certain phases against certain opponents. But for a beginner, I recommend long ball counter and maybe a formation like this, and to be quick, advanced instructions, defense on one left back or another defense on your DMF. And of course, when you select X and hold, you can move it and you can change the position of the player from, say, obviously this one when you slightly move it, but if I press triangle, you can change it from DMF to CMF. The idea about this is that you have 3 center backs and defense on a fullback, so you don't get countered. And this type of formation is pretty much one of the most effective formations in the game, whether you play it like this or you play it flat in a way. But the meta formation has always been the same. It has never changed, which is something like this. You go with DMF, CMF, AMF, and of course, players' playing style matters. But these are things I don't want to get into it right now. You have to learn these basics by yourself. But I will have individual videos explaining all of these settings individually, from the best formation, the best tactic, advanced instructions, how to set up your sub-tactic with a completely different formation or tactic, and getting into advanced instructions, the most common one that is used. And of course, these are things, for example, you set up your set piece takers, and maybe if you have a big guy, let him to join attack for set pieces, edit numbers, automatic match support. I usually, if I run out of post time, I only turn this one to flexible. I would not recommend turning any of these on, to be honest. And from here, you can change your team name to whatever you like or your abbreviation. Then from the game plan list, you can switch to any other squad that you may want to create and switch between them and so on. Now, if you have any questions, or both those of you experienced players, if I missed out anything, you might think it will help some beginners, please comment down below and let's help each other out. Hope you find the video useful. This is just a quick beginner's guide to guide you through all the elements that is in the game, because the issue I have when I do live streaming on Twitch, a lot of people ask me about the most common basic elements in the game that is literally there and they can't even find it where it is. And as I showed you at the beginning, it is important to go through most of these general informations for you to understand player stats, player skills, and player value, which is the option that you can get into it whether you are in your squad or you go into your My Team and players. If you select on any player here and you simply select player action, then you can of course train your players and then progression points. Well, the first thing is obviously level up training. You basically give them the points and then you proceed. That's how you train players, and then you want to train them accordingly however you wish. But ideally you don't want to. The only way I would advise you auto train players if you use them in their original position. Like often, let's say you have an attacking midfielder but you use them as a wing forward. In that case, yeah, ideally in general you should never auto train, in my opinion, unless you use every player in their default position. But that's just a basic. So what I'm trying to say, ideally you should never auto-train your players. This is just something for beginners. You don't want to get stuck into it until you understand things better. But if you are going to auto-train your players, then make sure you use them in their default position. If you have somebody like who plays SS by default, do not use them as a CF or AMF or a winger if you are going to auto-train it. Now from here, when you select on a player, again, top right, you select this. Please make an effort to understand players' playing style, in which position those playing styles are active. For example, a goal poacher says position CF. If you change a goal poacher into SS, goal poacher playing style won't be active. And so on, all of them are here. Have a read about it, have a good understanding of it. And player stats is really important. Most often people don't understand what dribbling stands for. It's not necessarily dribbling, it's basically how good a player is running with the ball. Tight position is more agility and dribbling and low speed. So once you understand player stats combined with player skills, therefore you would know. Like for instance, you don't need to give a player 95 passing if he has one touch pass, through pass, low lofted pass, weighted pass, for instance. If he has high passing, that is all good. But you want to balance it out because you may want to use these points for more technique and so on. And it's also very, very important to understand the best skills for each position. There are many of these skills that can be useful for any player. And that option, it's pretty much is in the game as well. Additional skills is something you give your players. So it's very important to read through all of these so you understand. If you know these basic knowledge, what I showed you just here, it will give you a wide information about specifically to understand your players and how to train them and how to play with them, most importantly. For example, if I'm using Van Dijk, his technique is terrible. I'm not going to take a touch with Van Dijk under pressure. That's an example. If I'm using Gattuso, his job is to intercept, give it to a good passer. Often I don't even pass, make key passes with Gattuso, for instance. Now the other functions, when you press square on a player, you got your position training. It's random. As long as you have one, you add it. For example, for Konami this, ideally LMF RMF would be nice. And then the other options, we have player fusion, which is basically you transfer a player into another one. And the only thing will get transferred is that the player progression points and the skill he owns. These are the only things will get transferred. And eventually they may change that. They may reduce certain things or they may add certain things. But this is based on August 2025, the first week of eFootball 2026 is being released. Again, these are all info in the game as well. And the most important thing, of course, from these functions with the training, it's player skill. Now, again, as I said, always check the functions because it may come handy. When you click on it, again, here even shows you all the skills. The same thing with player positioning. If you want to understand which position it's possible for that particular player, it tells you right here. For example, you cannot make this particular player a CMF. Only these positions that shows there. And the new function was added. Not only you can give your player skills, but you can delete or overwrite any of them. For example, for Konami this, I think one-touch pass is ideal. First-time shot is ideal if you play him as a SS. That's just a simple example. But anyway, hope you find the video useful. Make sure to check out, subscribe, and like. I'll be uploading more videos covering almost everything that I just mentioned here. And eventually, of course, we have more advanced videos coming up. Till next time, ciao for now.